Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. I would say basically at this point I'm like mostly over my cold. I still have a bit of a runny nose, but still. And phlegm buildup, but it's honestly it's not the worst. So about as usual, about like a week or something. So, let's see. Good evening, everyone. I'm here with a late night broadcast. I can make it through this. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 12:14 AM on Friday, September 26th, or what should be Thursday, September 25th, 2025. Yes, so what else what we can talk about today? I started watching Alice in Borderland at request of, it's been recommended to me a few times. I'm not a binge watcher of it, so I watched the first episode and I'm like, it's interesting, it definitely feels very anime-esque to me. I know it originally started as manga and I'm watching a real life version, I think that was an anime version, I'm not 100% sure, but it feels like it's that very sort of dramatic. I spoke about what, like non-battle battle anime. I bet it's not a battle anime, I suppose. Because I will say, it's always very hilarious to me. Like, I don't see myself as like a genius or anything. But I do my best to at least put on some sort of portrayal of, not a portrayal, at least I try to be smart, I suppose, when I can be. But like Einstein once said that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its life thinking it's done forever. I think my life has. A lot of it's been judged by me being a fish and judging how well I can swim in water and being like, wow, pretty good. But anyway, that's not the point. But I always find it very amusing the ways people, or I suppose writers, maybe in a better way to put it, depict smart characters in fiction media. I'm not saying that necessarily is a right or wrong way, and well, I just think it's interesting to see different interpretations of it, shall we say, because the depiction of smart characters, like, I feel like half the time, the people I think of who I've met and been like, wow, you are like insanely smart, don't obviously, or maybe not, I shouldn't say obviously, don't fit that sort of stereotype trope, which is often the way they're portrayed in media. You might be like, what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is, very often it feels like the way that media presents smart characters is like a very sort of fantasized, I suppose, way of being smart. Like, I'll take Alice in Borderland. It's not really a big spoiler, and maybe it gets better. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. It just is a trope. Is probably the way I'd say it. But the depiction, it happens in the first episode, so it's not a spoiler. But like the main character Arisu, is basically like a sort of like, what do you say, like someone who's not trying very hard. He's just like playing games all the time instead of trying to do stuff or whatever. But then they want to show that essentially that, oh, he is actually like pretty smart as well. And the way they do it is very funny to me, because like I think it starts off pretty reasonably. Like they show a lot of like planning books about I think it was all about geometry, or like advanced level geometry, not just like obviously simple shapes in high school, whatever. I genuinely can't remember off the top of my head what the geometry was, but I did look at it and be like, oh, interesting. Which I think is like a pretty decent way to actually represent someone who's smart. I mean, there's different varieties of smart, like knowledgeable, someone who would read like on advanced topics or something like that. That one, I've got no qualms with, very reasonable. The people I've met who are super smart, they read so far ahead on like the level that we were at the time. Like when I was in university, basically, the people who were like really, really smart were basically doing third year courses in our first year. Like, they were insanely good. So I'm like, that perfect way to represent someone, to show that they've got an interest in it or something. But then later on, they show him like walking, and they're like, oh, how else do we show him he's smart? And they show him basically solving like a 5x5 Rubik's Cube on his phone, and it looks like he's playing a video game, because it's like he's flicking and doing the turns and it's going like nice, good, combo, great, perfect, or stuff like that. and like all these flashing colours. That one I did like sort of laugh at. One, I'm gonna be 100% real with you. If you know how to solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube, you could learn how to solve a 5x5 Rubik's Cube. They're actually very similar. The only thing you need to learn is learning how to do the centerpieces, and then learning a handful of algorithms to solve parity issues. But once you do that, you're actually like golden, because the most common way to solve a 5x5 Rubik's Cube is to simplify it down into a 3x3 Rubik's Cube and then solve it, believe it or not. And 5x5 in some ways is easier because you don't have to figure out where the centers go. Can I solve a 5x5? Yes, I can. Not off the top of my head anymore, but certainly when I was younger, I used to be able to, much easier. But the ones I keep around are my 2x2, 3x3 and 4x4s, because those are ones I bought in a pack of this really nice, like, oh my gosh, I was talking about Rubik's Cube one day, but I like these really nice sort of like plastic ones, and I always like the inverted colours where they use like white plastic instead of black, and stickerless, so those are ones I have. I don't know what brand they are necessarily. Maybe if I search them, white stickerless Rubik's Cube, and I like solving a 3x3 because I think, oh gee, that's it. And it literally just immediately came up. I like solving a 3x3 Rubik's Cube. Does being able to solve a 3x3 Rubik's Cube make you smart inherently? My answer is no. Your mileage may vary. It is, I would say, like something that you can just basically learn. It's, in my opinion, it's not that hard. It is just algorithmic, if anything. Like you just gotta kind of learn the method, and once you learn the method, you're golden. Like nothing can stop you. If you can solve a 3x3, you can solve a 2x2. 2x2 is even easier than a 3x3. And if you can solve a 3x3, you can solve a 4x4. 4x4 is basically the next step up, and it's normally the transitionary period into 5x5. But the way he's solving it is so highly insane. Not saying that, like, I mean, he could be a professional speedkeeper, which obviously you need some smarts to be able to do it. But I mean, I guess it just goes against what I think of as when I think of like genius levels. I think of like Terrence Tao or something, or I'm trying to think of someone else, but I mean, he's the only one who comes to mind at the moment. But the gripes I have was not the fact that he can solve a 5x5 Rubik's Cube, nor really the fact that they're using it to show that, oh, he's smart. I mean, like, there probably is some sort of correlation, but I'm not certain that you can say that one causes the other or anything like that. But it's more of a display of the app. Like, even, like, you would have to be a great speedkeeper to be solving a 5x5 Rubik's Cube like he was at that speed. And by great, I mean insane. Like, you didn't even, like, spot check it. Maybe, like, they cut out that part, which is fair, but why do we build an app which is based off like this combo-based system? Makes no sense to me, I suppose, because there's multiple ways you can solve a Rubik's Cube, right? There's multiple different, like, you could do multiple different methods, or you could do multiple different, like, algorithms, or, like, parity correction algorithms, depending on what you want. So that, the greats and perfects can't relate to something, like, being the right way to solve it. So is it like a rhythm-based app? In which case that's just bizarre. A rhythm-based Rubik's Cube solving app? And anyway, my experience with those digital solving Rubik's Cube apps are very, very finicky to use, because it's real troublesome, because Rubik's Cube has a lot of like ranges of motion, and you need to be able to like turn around in your hand. So the fact he saw only 3 of the sides and like had perfect recall, I suppose, of the other sides, and also just tapped and swiped vaguely in the right direction, and it just did the right things, makes me feel like it's more like a fidget toy. Like, he's just like, it's playing an animation, he's just tapping with right rhythm and it's solving it. Like, I get what they're going for, but me, from a very critical mindset for no apparent reason, when I watch things because I can't turn it off for whatever reason, was like, this is a bit, come on. Really? Anyway. Is it a deal breaker or anything? No, not even in the slightest. Wait, maybe it's a more you Rubik's Cube. More you Speed Cube? Oh, it's a more you. That logo looks the same. I think it was like more you Pastel Cube or something. No. I think. I don't know, it doesn't look like this. It's like bright. More you. I think it was bought from America or something. I can't remember a friend buying a big shipment or something and being like, hey, do you want any of these? And I was like, oh, you know, this one would be cool. And then I just like hopped on the order. Anyway, not the point. What is the point? I don't know if I'm even going to be able to find these ones again. Oh, here it is. Moyu Oolong version 2. That. Oh, no, pink version. Oh, there you go. I've got this in a 2x2, 3x3, 4x4. So maybe I should get 5x5. Complete the set, get 1x1 as well. Is that a thing? No, but... yeah, I don't know. I like it. This one. I like it enough that it stayed on my, whatchamacallit? Shelf for long enough. I don't even know if there is a 5x5 version. Maybe that's why I didn't buy one. Huh. No, sorry, I'm just going down this rabbit hole now. Because I want to find a 5x5, but if it doesn't exist, what am I going to do? It was version 2 when I bought it, but on version 7 now. 7? What? Anyway, not the point. The point being, well, I don't really know what the point is, to be honest, but I'm just trying to think now what I was going with this. The point being, it's interesting how they represent it. And then I don't want to give like big spoilers, I think, for, well, okay, I guess this will be spoilers for the first episode of Alice in Borderlands, if you're worried about me spoiling it, I suppose, which I don't think you should be necessarily. Again, it's the first episode. But basically, they play this death game, and then the way he figures it out is, it's both very plausible and implausible at the same time, I think. It's insane, because, like, I think the overall concept of the way he figures it out feels actually pretty reasonable. You know, he basically, they had to choose doors. One is like life, one is death, and they want to live, obviously, but you know, it's about figuring out which one, because it's not, they don't know which door it is necessarily. And he figures out basically based on the shape of a building and like the size of a room, shape of a room, is that they're basically drafting out like a maze shape in the entire thing, and then he maps it out like that, and then there's like a little sort of twist thing at the end, which I'm like, okay, like I can plausibly see that. But the way he works it out is crazy. Where he works it out because he remembers the car that they passed at the beginning, and it was like, oh, it's this car, and he knows the exact length of a car, and I'm like, what? Okay. And then he memorizes it, and then he also noticed like the fire escape plan map at the beginning, and was like, okay, well, I also used the car to estimate the size of this building, and I saw that the layout of a map is there, and then I used my feet, which I know exactly the length of my feet, or shoe I should say, and measure out like the approximate size of a room. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, he could have just made estimations, to be honest, and he probably would have got to the relative same answer. And like, it feels like they tried to push it a bit, where like, oh, look how smart he is, he knows the exact length of a car, which is exactly what pushes it into like unnatural territory for me. I'm not saying people out there don't know the length of exact cars and that sort of thing, but I mean, he didn't really strike me as a car aficionado. That seems like a very random thing to sort of memorize. Hey, what do I know? But yeah, it's a sort of thing which is very common, I think, in like non-battle battle. And maybe that sort of thing was like, they figure something out in a very sort of roundabout way, which makes you go, which is meant to give the demonstration of like, look how smart they are, but a lot of times my personal feeling goes, what? How does that make any sense? Which I end up finding quite funny. Like, obviously I can suspend my disbelief for watching it. I don't sit there watching and be like, well, now I'm not going to watch it because now that doesn't make any sense. But it is something I sort of just go, that's quite amusing, I find. yeah, it just is amusing to be like, this is the way that they end up demonstrating it, you know? I'm trying to think of like other shows or something which are like, this is a really smart character. Like, don't we do that with Sherlock a lot? I've never actually seen Sherlock, so I can't comment on how plausible I suppose it feels like. But that's the thing, like, or like, but his memory palace sort of thing, right? People are just like, well, look how crazy smart he is or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for certain. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It feels like, because I see a lot in the D&D sort of subreddit as well. It's like, people are like, how do I play a smart character, I suppose, when I myself am not smart? And often I think people have a specific way of intelligence in mind, right? Because as I say, I feel like people are very smart in a lot of different things. You know, you might conventionally call me quite smart because I'm very good at puzzle games, but you know, I don't know how to like drive or anything. I would be completely clueless on how to fix a car. Like, I'm not very smart in that aspect, am I? But I know, you know, I think I'm sort of bearing a lead when I say that, because I think people tend to mean like, well, okay, I mean like how well they can use like logic or put together difficult concepts together or learn new things. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. But I mean, it's a very interesting thing, you know. I think it goes into sort of like a deeper writing question, like how do you write about an experience which you don't necessarily have? Because I don't think it's unfair to say that like, oh, people should only write about experiences that they personally know and have, you know. Because then, you know, taken to the extreme, that basically means the only characters you can write are characters who are literally yourself, which, you know, doesn't necessarily make for a very cohesive story. But at the same time, you know, there's things, I do understand that perspective as well, like misrepresentation obviously is very important to avoid, you know, accurately representing, or, you know, like a demographic, for example. I'm not saying that is meaningless, I'm saying that does have a lot of meaning, which unsurprisingly means that there is a healthy in-between, somewhere between the two extremes. Oh, my mouse is so annoying right now, because I think the way I usually grip it and click is leading to a lot of double clicks for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, I feel like also like the ways that they do like smart characters as well. It always goes with maths as well. It's always like, what's a smart character? And it's like, it's a character who can do some crazy like mental arithmetic in their head. Like I always think about, I don't always think about, I guess this one's more tongue in cheek. But this is the My Little Pony one. It's like Twilight Sparkle is so smart. It's like, oh, and it's like, I can't remember exactly how it gets asked or something, but it's like the square root of 543 is 23.366642891009. I don't know why I still remember that, but I still do for some reason. I'm like, that's certainly, maybe it's 547? 23.366642891009 squared. Oh, square root 546. Is that what I said? I don't remember. It's like, that's such a very strange way, I suppose, to demonstrate smartness, you know. Like, the smartest people I know, I don't know if any of them could do that square root in their head, at least that quickly. Which I guess is meant to like show sort of like a superhuman level. Maybe like, I should be thinking about it in the aspect of like other categories as well, you know. If I, you know, see someone who's super smart, be like lift a truck or something, it's not like all the strong men out there. Like, that's totally unrealistic anyway. I get obviously what we're going for, but it is also very amusing at the same time. Because I don't know, I wonder who's like a very well portrayed smart character who like genuinely is portrayed as smart in a realistic way rather than like a fantastical way, you know. I don't know. That's an interesting concept. I know we've only got a few minutes or whatever time, but Reddit, smartest character in fiction. Like, I want to see Moon Girl from Marvel Comics. Who's the smartest realistic person in fiction? Lolliet? Light Yagami? Who's Oh, L. Lolliet. Okay, fair enough. I haven't watched Death Note, so maybe. Hannibal Lecter. Okay. Tony Stark. Who's the smartest fictional character? Rick from Rick and Morty. Mr. Fantastic from Fantastic Four. I don't know. It's just interesting to think about. I don't, like, again, I'm not like a professional writer, so I'm not sure there's a better way to do it. Like, maybe if you portray a very realistic, smart character, maybe the entire audience goes, oh, that guy's not that smart. But then, if you do it like with this fantastic way, or like they can do like a square root of a random number just off the top of the head, then people go like, whoa, yeah, that's pretty smart. Anyway, I'm going to have this episode up here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Social Discord down below. Hope to see you again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.